I have a white husband, kind of. He's a non-practicing Italian, the best kind. And I have to tell you, as an Asian woman, every time I've ever been like courted or approached by like a white guy, I've been on guard, okay? Because I had to make sure that he wasn't one of those white guys who only likes Asian girls. Do you know those guys? It's called Asian fetish, yellow fever. We're wary of these guys, okay? Because I was born in North America. A guy who has an Asian fetish is after something particular that I am not, but they're projecting it onto me. They want someone who's small and loyal and subservient and quiet. And I'm always like, are you sure you don't want a puppy? Like, is this... Right? There's a lot of these guys in Vancouver. You guys know this guy? Yeah. Yeah, you can't miss him. He's very pale, all right? Yes. God, always eating everything with chopsticks. It's like, we're at McDonald's, buddy. Calm it down, right? For some reason, he's usually got a sword, which is strange because he usually doesn't have the muscle mass to lift a sword, right? This is the kind of guy who, when he tells you that he knows magic, it's code for nothing at all. He's just a weirdo that knows magic, all right? Sometimes these guys, they're going to Japan to teach English. You know those guys? Yeah, like what, with your dick? Why is this happening? You know? So I had to vet. I'm always suspicious. But my husband is wonderful. He doesn't like me because I'm Asian. He loves me for who I pretended to be that first year. So...
Hi guys, so I just wanted to come and to touch on a report that was put together by a journalist. I believe this article appeared in the New York Post, but his research is from last year when he put the entire report together in December of last year. And so, according to him, Asian women are making a slight amount of money more than white men. And he's saying, and this is we're talking about average, right? We're talking about middle class, working class people in general. And he's saying that so the myth of white supremacy is just that, a myth, right? And he's basing it on the fact that these women have been able to either they're Americans or they are able to come into this country and succeed in business, right? Or I guess corporate America. Now, I was reading over the report. If you go to his Twitter page, you can click the link to get directly to the full report, because his article in New York Post is not it's not going to have all of the data, right? His research. And so some of the things in his research as to why he feels that Asian women are making more money than white men have to do with the fact that they have they are obtaining a higher level of education. And he's saying that they are able to do that because they have a family structure in place and community support, more so than other communities, right? And so he's saying that is how they have been able to get to this level over other minorities and other groups, clearly, like he's trying to say, over African Americans who've been here. Now, he brings up the race relations, but he don't, and obviously he wants to exclude that so he can try to create this talking point, I guess, for Republicans that anyone can come into America and succeed. And I'm not trying to say that people can't come here and do that. Obviously, they can. Obviously, they have. Obviously, it can happen. But what I feel that it's not fair is for him not to um, come from an honest place about race relations. Obviously, there is a relationship as well between white men and Asian women um, that he's also not taking into consideration. And I'm not saying these women are sleeping to their way to anywhere, so please don't twist up nothing that I say. Obviously, they can compete at a higher rate if they do have the education, so I'm not taking anything from them. But I'm also saying, regardless if these men want to have relationships with these women or not, if they have a certain affection for these women, then that may have something to do with their hiring process. So let's be honest about that. I don't see that pointed out in his report. And I think that people like to use a lot of fairy dust and not using in reality of certain things as well, right? People trying to act as if everything, like every time someone gets hired, they're hired based on their ability or their qualifications, and that's not true all the time. It's just not. And it's enough discrimination lawsuits and class action suits and all the type of things that are going. Even in 2021, he's not saying Asian men are doing as well, right? So we have to understand that there's a reason why that is as well. He brought up so many different things. Obviously, the marriage rates and all that stuff. Obviously, black people are at the bottom of all of those polls, right? As far as our value system changing from generations ago to where when people are not trying to impress upon their children to get married before starting a family. We're not doing that anymore. We're not. We're certainly not a community-driven community. We think about everybody else before we think about ourselves, and people, feel good about coming out and saying that. Some people, and I don't know if they get what they're saying or not, because obviously they haven't been taught of having community. Some black people trying to paint that as racism, and black people can't be racist because we are not in a power structure. And also, I think that what he's not really saying is that the power structure in this country is still very much white male, regardless if Asian women are moving into higher up, management positions, they are still the power structure. Now, if some of these women are going to start taking on some of these roles, we will see if certain things will change because they are there. I think that's another pattern for him to research, right? To see if now that these women are now in some of these positions, will that now change how other women will be able to get into those positions? Let's, check the stats on that in a few years. What do you guys think about this story? Let me know in the comments. Like I said, when I was reading over some of the stuff that his research, I can agree. I could see how that is possible. Like when you think about even the foster system, you don't think how often do you see Asian children in the foster system, right? And so they do tend to have a stronger family structure, which is going to aid in them being able to concentrate on education, whereas some people have to concentrate on other things. And that's, it's a part of it. And so I don't think you can exclude those things when you're saying stuff like this. He, of course, he said in the report that obviously black women are facing far more obstacles than other groups of women, which is true. But like I said, he did not touch on the fact that white supremacy and oppression was not put in place to oppress the Taiwan community. It wasn't put in place to oppress the Korean community. So let's be fair and honest in those ways. Oftentimes, you will see in cities, the little Saigons, the Koreatowns, the Chinatowns, These people are about community. They are definitely creating places where their community can go and recycle dollars, making sure that money is recycling among them. And you don't have that structure in the African American community. And we haven't seen it in many, many, many years, right? And today, most black people will say, don't even talk to me about that. I don't care. I just love everybody, you know? And that doesn't help us in any way, you know, when we're not willing to work with each other. And so I do agree with some of the stuff that he's saying, but I do think that he is lacking in the relationship, in the race relations department. You know, we are not leading in the hate crimes in this country for naught. Okay, so you have to factor that in, that if people are willing to do certain things to our community, that they also may have some, you know, hold some prejudice when they are hiring as well. So you have to be honest in that way. But let me know what you guys think about what he had to say. If you have read his report or the article in New York Post, I'll put his Twitter page. I think I have it. I'll put it, I think it's just his name, in the description box. So if you guys want to click on the report and kind of read over it. See you guys in the next video. Bye.
Many black people who are working, and they have to be in order for us to spend $1 trillion. Right. But they have no bonding relationship to the group. If you look at people from China, from Japan, from the Arab nations, from Britain, from France, they are the Italians, the Poles, they bond to their group. Group comes first. We got some foolish backwards notion that we're supposed to be hooked up with everybody. Right. And not even realizing that nobody is hooked up with us economically except to act as our parasite while we are their saprophyte. And let me break that shit down to people. Parasite means something that preys on another organism for its sustenance.